So, I was sent something earlier, yesterday actually, that basically alluded to helping out kids with their credit by adding them to your credit card so that when they turn 18, then they start with like a good credit history and 800 credit score and all that stuff to help them out. And to the person that
At end of the road,
sent me
turn
that,
right
I
onto East Union Street.
it's a good idea, but I actually disagree with that sentiment like entirely. I think that does nothing but create dependence, and children, I think, probably, when they're in a situation where they are handed things or become dependent on like a parent, and then that doesn't really give them the tools to survive when the parent is like gone, or like it's like they're not really learning anything. So I think it's just setting them up for failure. So yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I had a pretty horrible credit score for quite a while, and at this point it's actually pretty healthy for the first time in my life. And it has nothing to do with paying your bills on, well, I mean, it does to an extent, but really credit, in my observation, is really about credit cards, credit availability, how well you pay off your credit cards, not your electric bill, utilities, all that. I mean, obviously those are calculated and you want to pay those on time, but in my opinion, the biggest game changer was actually using credit, because way back in the day, I just fundamentally didn't believe in credit. Like, I basically had the thought that if I'm going to buy something, I'm buying it cash, so I'm never going to take out a loan or use a credit card. But it's really important to actually utilize credit, to establish history and actually establish a credit score, because
After
obviously,
350 yards,
if you're going to get a mortgage or something, obviously they want to see that you can handle money responsibly, and the only way to do that is by having a credit card. So
take the next left onto Winthrop
if you really
Street,
want to
then
establish credit, I mean, obviously, and I think a lot of people know this, but some people may not, but you want to get a secured credit card for like even $200.
After 90 yards, keep
Like, I
right
think Open
onto
Sky
Winthrop
is actually a
Street,
decent
then
company,
take
but
the
you can
next
look up
right.
like any other company, and
Turn right at
you
the
pay them
traffic light.
$200 and they're gonna give you the card, and you go from there. And obviously you want to start monitoring your credit. You want to get Credit Karma, you want to get Experian, and you actually want to sign up for these services. Credit Karma is free. Experian you have to pay for, and it's worth it because you want to be able to monitor your score. So when you get a credit card, your score's not going to like automatically jump up. You have to establish yourself. You definitely want to use your credit card here and there. For me, I was using it for like a fitness thing, taekwondo obviously, or whatever for me, but you could do anything like a gym or whatever and just put it on that credit card and pay it off every single month, pay it off. You want to undoubtedly leave, basically you want under 50% utilized, under 50% at all times. You do not want to have utilization higher than that, and ideally you want it to be under 25% or 30%. But you do want to use it because you have to establish this history. So when the time does come that your credit does start reflecting responsible use, there's going to be a time where your score might jump from like 580 to like 620 or something like that. Whenever that happens, use that opportunity to immediately jump on another card. That's what I did. I immediately jumped onto a card. They actually did it unestablished, and not unestablished, but like not secured, and the amount that they gave me was higher. So again, I'm just basically doing that. and then you want to just like use that sparingly. And one thing that I think is really good is because they don't require a very great credit rating at all. Fingerhut. I mean, me personally, I got the Fingerhut account not to use, but it does show up as a available credit on your balance. So what that basically does is it increases your available credit, so that when you're using some of your other cards, you're still under like 50%. You can go higher on your existing cards and still keep your balance under your total utilization under 50%. And that itself helps you score. The other thing, they do have, self-loan builders, basically. Like you could take out a loan for like, honestly, like $200 and pay it off $5 a month for like 24 months, and that helps establish history. And that's an investment. Like it's investing in yourself because it's building history. And then at the end of the loan, they just give you the money back, or sometimes, it's such a low amount they don't even give back to you. But it's basically not like, it's just worth it because, it's like an investment in yourself. I mean, and credit is so important. So yeah, if you go and add your kids to your credit card, one, that's presuming you have good credit. I mean, a kid might want that to happen, and now that's not good because now they're dependent on you, and they're presuming you have a good score. So you could actually hurt their score because you aren't in a position to be timely in your bills, and it's like that's a huge risk for the child. Like, why would they want to do that? Like, children should learn to kind of like be individuals. I mean, that's what growing up is. It's not like being handed everything. It's like you want to struggle. It's like playing a video game. You don't want to play Mario to the end for your kid. They're never going to learn. It's like you have to go through the struggle. So as a parent, you should really teach your kid the struggle. And I don't know if any parents really are truly teaching their kids about good credit. I mean, I know a lot of people say, oh, you have to have good credit, and they're like, oh, get a credit card, but they don't really give the knowledge to their kids, like the actual process, that works. And maybe a lot of people just don't know the process themselves. I don't know. I struggled with it until my 30s, like for sure. 100%. Like, I didn't think I could ever have good credit, to be honest, because I don't know, it just seems like the system's stacked against you. But I mean, it's simpler than it seems. It's just the knowledge isn't really out there 100% unless you're like really digging. And it does take a couple of years. I mean, this time 2 years ago, my credit was horrible. But 2 years later, and I took the steps basically that I just outlined in this video, and it's pretty good now. So I'm happy. Anyway, yeah, that was just my thought, based on a conversation I was just having. So.